did you know that your birthday is the most powerful, one of the most powerful times of the year for you? Lotus Dawn here with Michael Grady, and it's the eve of my birthday, and I am a True the Stars sidereal astrologer, and I wanted to come to you to share with you the power of the sun sign in the astrological chart. Being that it is my birthday, we're sitting out here in the canyon country. We got this big, beautiful sun shining right on us. And Michael and I were having a conversation about how the light was hitting my eyes and they were shining. What was that experience like for you?
This is really lighting up the color of your eyes, and you can see the color of your eyes and the design much better when the sun's shining right on them.
That really touched my heart that you shared that with me, because
That's what I wanted to do.
in astrology, the sun in an astrological chart represents our identity. It also represents something even deeper.
What's that?
It represents the soul. And people often say that the eyes are the window to the soul.
To the soul, right.
And tomorrow being my birthday, I've just been sort of contemplating what's the power of the birthday, right? What's the significance of the birthday in astrology? Why is it so important? Why is it so valuable to take time on your birthday? Well, the sun, right, travels through all of the constellations every year. I use a 13 sign system. So the sun's traveling through the 13 signs, and on your birthday, the sun returns to the exact same constellation, this exact degree of that constellational sign that it was at the moment of your birth. And so why is that so powerful? Why is that so important? Imagine, if you will, that the sun represents the soul, and that our birthdays are this incredible window and opportunity back to our soul essence. And so when the sun shines at the same amount of degrees as it was when you were born, it's like shining the light the most deeply, the most powerfully on your soul, to your essence of who you are. And so if you do celebrate your birthday, or maybe you don't always put as much time and energy into it, I would invite you, when your birthday comes up, to really take some time out to honor who you are at the soul level, at the essence level of yourself. Now, Michael, you just had your birthday about a week ago, and we celebrated.
Yeah.
Did you have any awarenesses? Did you notice anything? What's it like for you? I have my own story, but what's it like for you celebrating your birthday? Have you noticed anything special that happens every year for you?
Well, one of the things that you showed me is that you can pull up some of these astrology apps and look at where exactly your sun is at that time. And you showed me how I'm actually not in Aries.
That's right.
I thought I was in Aries, born on April 15th. But when I actually took the Star Walk app, or the other app you speak about, it actually shows it in Pisces, specifically right in Pisces. There's no denying it. And so why would I be labeled, or I would be an Aries when I'm not, And then you introduce this amazing system that you practice.
Right.
Which makes way more sense.
Right. And
so
it's so interesting.
Yeah.
So mainstream astrology is actually 2,000 years behind. It's back in the past. They set that system up 2,000 years ago where the signs are. And it was true. It was true back then. If you had a telescope and you went and looked up at the sky, you would have seen Aries starting on March 21st. That was totally accurate, totally valid. But they didn't know about precession. They didn't know that the constellational bodies,
and apparently they still don't know.
Well, that's a whole other conversation, are moving backwards in relation to the Earth at the rate of about 1 teeny tiny degree every 72 years. So what does that mean to us? It means that where the signs actually are about 1 sign backwards from what Western astrology tells you. So
that's a huge difference.
It's a huge difference.
Right? Yeah.
It changes everything. So if you've had your astrology chart done, and you say your sun sign, your moon sign, your ascendant, chances are that if you put it through the actual sky system, which is what I use and we use with our clients, and have amazing results. I mean, it's like 100%
Yeah,
accuracy.
it's always super spot on.
And even predicting world events down to things being revealed in the media. I can't even believe
You
this.
predicted the stock market dip that happened recently.
You know,
yeah,
I'm
all kinds
helped.
of stuff,
I'm
yeah.
helped because other people have done a lot of research with astrology, and they share with us that when Venus, the planet of wealth and abundance, goes retrograde, the stock market will plunge. And sure enough, there it went.
Time to buy.
Yep. So those of you out there who want to make some money in the stock market, keep your eye out for Venus, the planet of wealth, going retrograde, because the stock market will always dip. It's about every 1.5 years or so, and so that's a great time to buy. But getting back to the story of Michael's of the birthday, and how do we know what time is our actual birth? Our actual sign, right? So Michael, you grew up being told you were an Aries.
I always thought I was an Aries.
Right, because they say March 21st to April 21st is Aries. Well, guess what? Aries does not start until April 21st. And so yesterday, which is a total game changer for everyone out there who follows astrology, if you're interested in using it as a science. I think it's wonderful. I do readings for people all the time.
And it actually matched up with Easter.
Right.
And it being the birth of the new year.
Yeah.
Birth of the start of the zodiac at Aries.
Right.
It just all makes sense.
It does. Yeah, when you start following it, and Michael has the gift, or he gets to hear a lot about this often, and so he's been watching it line up over and over and over again, and it just starts getting to be mind-boggling after a while.
I get to hear these calls where, oh my God, have you been watching me? Do you know you've been putting cameras in my house?
And I have to say, no, I haven't gotten to that level of spying in my life, but the chart is almost like that. The chart is an oracle. Why is it so great? Because it's lined up to the actual sky and the planets that were actually up in the sky when you were born.
So try to follow Western astrology where everything is a sign off.
It's a whole sign ahead of where it was.
Yeah.
Right. So I wanted to invite you. You're invited tomorrow. I'm going to be doing a birthday celebration where we're going to look at some astrology charts. I'm going to answer some questions. I'm also going to give you guys an update about what's happening astrologically right now. And oh my gosh,
it's always so spot on. You're always predicting stuff when it's happening, like when information's coming out and all types of stuff.
I can't even believe it. You guys come learn about this, because I want to share this with someone. When it starts being that good, you just have to share it with others, because it's almost funny, right? It's like, wow, how is that so accurate over and over again? So
you're like able to decode the matrix or something. Right?
Well, I have a lot of help from the planets and the stars and where they actually are. But yes, when you know the language of the planets, the signs, and the constellations, and you have it mapped to the actual sky, you literally can start to predict the future. You literally can start to predict what's going to happen with the economy, what's going to happen with the government, what's going to happen with the world, and give people insight, information, and
you predicted
updates.
When someone got into a relationship before they did.
I did. That was the coolest one.
Yeah.
I had a session with one of my wonderful clients, and we worked on her chart. She wasn't even asking about relationships, but I saw on her chart that there was going to be an upcoming alignment with a lot of planets in her house of relationships. And I said, I just have to share this with you. There's a chance that love might be walking into your life soon. And she's like, oh, okay, that'd be great. She didn't really have an attachment one way or the other. Maybe that's why it worked. And the next thing I know, about a week later, I've been thinking about her a lot, and I get a message, and it's pictures of her with this new guy. And she's like, oh my God, I met someone. And I was like, it's so cool.
You called it. Wow.
So I love being able to know these things so that I can tell you and give you that information. That's what really lights me up. I mean, knowing this stuff on my own is great, but when it can help benefit you and your life and making choices and knowing your path and your direction and where you're headed, that's one of the number one things that clients share with me about knowing about this chart work is, Lotus, I feel like I have a direction now. I know which way to go. I have clarity. And you have affirmed and confirmed. This is one of my favorite things they say. Lotus, you're really helping me confirm that I was already doing so much better than I realized, that I'm
Mm.
already so much more on track than I was allowing myself to know. And
I've had that confirmation too. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's just such a gift. It's such a gift to be a benefit to others.
Yeah.
So come tomorrow, 2 p.m., April 23rd, Pacific Standard Time, and we will share lots more.